I was born of the 42 ideals of Ma'at. My mother is nature. My father is time. I am a Neski queen.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are here with another episode for Be More Mindful podcast. It's your host Aneski. Today is Thursday, May the 8th, and it is our first episode of the month. I'm super excited to have a returning guest from last season with me. For those who are familiar with him, he is my brother, my little big brother at that, and he is the father of the infamous Lil Zay. And so I give to you all real quick, Extravagant Dad. He's our guest. Thank y'all.
How y'all
Thank y'all for
doing? How
joining
y'all
me.
doing? Tap in. Thanks for having me again.
Definitely.
Season 2. We still going. We still growing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Still growing. So
Yeah.
I want to jump right into it because guys, y'all know how it is. It's been one of those days, and this topic that I got in here today was something that I really needed to have a conversation, not just to have a podcast and have a topic for the series, but I really wanted to be able to have something to look back on for myself. And I wanted to have the guest that I have, I know is going to bless us with so much, that I wanted to have someone that I know that I would be able to definitely pull from at any time and have this energy and information handy, because sometimes we really need to remind ourselves of worth. So before we go right into it, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, 4 letters, LOVE. L is for listen to everyone. O is openly expressing ourselves. V is viewing our thoughts in individually, and E is ending in love, so ending in peace and love. So if you're able to abide by those etiquettes, then I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy our show. So before we get into the topic, I just want Malcolm to introduce himself for those who may not know him in detail, and then tell us how it is what he does helps him cope and deal with any social and mental barriers living here in Baltimore City. Malcolm, you got the floor.
What's going on? She called me Malcolm. That's my government. But I'm mostly known now as
Excuse me,
Extravagant.
Extravagant. I'm so sorry. He said, "Call my government." Like,
No, it's all
he really
good.
was like, I'm like, he's just not going to respond.
Yeah, no, I'm Malcolm. Uh, Known as Extravagant Dad now. And as I evolve, my names evolve. I feel like my titles should describe my who I am, right? And I'm in a chapter of my life where being a husband and a father is a priority to me. So Extravagant Dad is just a part of the brand that we created. Extravagant and Young is a company we created that's surrounded by my son Lil Zay, who's a 11-year-old superstar, hip hop artist, motivational speaker, actor, model, etc., etc. Um, and yeah, my job is basically to help people. God gave me empathy and wisdom. And with those two things, I just use it to see somebody else and pull somebody else over that bridge that they may not be able to cross on their own. And so, yeah, that's basically who I am and what I do. I'm currently an outreach worker. Um, I actually serve the underserved in our city. I'm an outreach worker for homeless people in Baltimore City. And outside of that, I work with the youth to ensure that they use their gifts that God gave them to provide them with a life that they may not have had without it. So, yeah, I got an ear for talent, an eye for talent, and I just like to help people. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm glad you brought that up about the name, because as those know, my first episode for this podcast in season 1 was "What's in a Name?" And I wanted to bring to people, because I too, for those who know my government and know my childhood name, a Neski, becoming a Neski was, like you said, transformation. something that I had to at one point in time constantly remind myself that I am this person. And I think that's important to be able to do. And because we get so stuck in, who we are at that moment, at this moment, that I think sometimes we're not able to see who we're able to
Right.
be, and the ability to evolve and name changing and all of that. I think that's important for us as in a culture, and coming from ancestors who had to deal with slave names and had to deal with those type of situations where a name meant so much. I think it's important for us to all be able to stand up and say, hey, this is my name, this is who I am, and this is I'm choosing to be, and be able to speak bold in that. So I thank you for making sure that, I stand on my principles with that extravagant dad, and that you are, and in respect to the fact that I love the evolution that you're taking in your life, and the control and power that you're taking over your purpose and walking proudly in it. So I want to take the time to say that,
Thank you. Thank you.
and you're welcome. And I would just want you to tell people how what you do help you cope, because you mentioned you do a lot of giving. You're in the service industry. You offering human services, and so that can be something that requires a lot of coming out. How does what you do help you cope with any mental and social barriers that you go through yourself personally?
So, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm still learning and trying to figure out how to cope with this new space that I'm in life, in regards of overextending myself. So, I'm learning
Mhm.
boundaries. I'm learning how to say no when necessary, and not go above and beyond. My partner, my wife, explained to me that sometimes me helping someone could be me hurting someone, because the lesson that God is trying to get them to learn, they might not get it because I didn't step in and try to save the day. So yeah, I'm learning how to balance it out. It has been times in the recent month or two where I thought I was just going to lose it because I had overextended myself so much, and then I got alone and was like, yo, like if I hear my name one more time, or if my phone ring one more time, I'm going to lose it. Right. And I didn't realize, because in the beginning it feel good. It's like, yes, I'm helping people, da 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 da. But then it get to a point where it was like, sheesh, I didn't realize my cup was getting empty and not getting refilled. And so, to be honest, what I do, it's a little overbearing sometimes. But the way I can say the one way it helps me cope with my issues is I find more gratitude in my life by being able to serve
Mm.
the underserved, right?
Mm.
Because when I look at what I'm tripping about personally, and then I go out here and help somebody else that's in a worse situation, it helped me realize that I don't even have no reason to be stressed. You know what I'm saying? The same thing
Yeah.
that I'm stressing about, I seen a post today that said, it's somebody praying for the same job that you hate. The somebody that's praying for the same house that you want to move out of. Somebody that's praying for the same car that you don't
Right.
want to take care of. And it was like, wow, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, just looking at it from that perspective, gratitude is the best attitude. That's my mantra right now.
Right. 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 I totally can concur with that as well. I too have, we always end up in similar spaces. I too have been in a space of just trying to be sure to humble myself, me more so, because a lot of the things I'm going through, it is honestly because I asked for it. And you just hit on something that I had a conversation with someone earlier about, like with my children. I'm a very nurturing and caring mom, right? And I have children that are adult age, as old as 26, and I have my youngest is 5. So I have those in between. And one of the things that I had to learn, and I'm really very much still learning, is when to pull back and allow them to learn certain lessons that they have to learn. And so I say that because when you have a range, when a child's 5 years old, you know everything. Oh, scoop, you swoop right in for everything. They need you for everything. But then as they get older, as a mom, you have to know when you have to kind of like scale back that swooping in and just sometimes let them learn the lessons that they need to learn. And having that range of children is challenging, because I have to be able to break myself down at all of these separate developmental stages and apply myself in a way that they can be productive. And so what happens is, if I'm in one mode, like if I'm in mommy 5-year-old nurture mode, where I'm like, I'm going all around the board, while the 26-year-old is looking at me crazy, like, yeah, ma, I don't need you to do that. You know, and sometimes I'm getting my feelings hurt. Like, you want me to be a mother? You don't want me to be a mother? But again, the conversation came to me, just as you said, had to learn that sometimes that person cannot learn that lesson, or a child cannot experience any growth if I'm there to always couple them, or where I think I'm helping, I can be actually stagnating, you know. And so again, we end up in these similar spaces a lot, and I always enjoy that, because it makes fun for our conversations that we have, and the uplifting that we give each other. And so another thing, you know, like you're just saying, like offering services and knowing your boundaries and knowing when that might not be your particular job. I was just telling somebody, my biggest thing, I was telling my son, I said, my biggest problem is when I see something in someone, I feel like it's my job to open it and unfold it and put it in their lap and let them have it, instead of seeing if they even want it themselves. Because I can see them, see something in them, or see something for them, but if they don't have the motivational unction to go for it themselves, everything that I go through to try to give it to them will be pointless, because they won't even be able to receive it with any type of gratitude. You understand? So yeah, I'm in that stage of learning how to humble myself and be thankful, you know, for a lot of the little things, the littlest things in life. And
like we spoke
I
on.
feel like that empowers me. Yeah, the littlest thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like we spoke on before we got on
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, the littlest
You
thing.
know, just the breath in our body alone, like we do it so much. Like right now we breathing, but we just take it for granted. Like, bro, if you aren't breathing, you're not living.
Yeah.
So I cherish every breath. You feel
Every
me?
breath. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. You know, just imagine, you know, a culture that they are so in tune with being thankful that they move on purpose of understanding they got every breath. It means something. I'm grateful. I'm gonna take advantage of it. I love it. I'm gonna use it for positive. I'm gonna use it for good. You know, imagine if people really got that in their heads. I think, you know, a lot of people will make decisions will be made, you know, more so for the empowerment than the destruction of people.
Thanks.
So that's something that I hope that we're able to start pushing out, getting out there. So yeah. That's one way to open the show. I needed that again. A lot of confirmation going on. You know, it's just one thing to be in communion with someone, but when you really have someone that you know that empathize with you, it makes conversations go a lot easier. You know, and even when you have a difference of opinion, you can understand it. Oh, well, this difference is coming from a space that I might need to hear. You know, so let's
For
get into
sure.
the show topic. For those who have been on Instagram and seen what's going on for this week, you know, the title is Know Your Worth. Now, I probably have came at this topic a few times before from different aspects, but again, this subject was really for me. So I wanted the title to make sure that it was specific and exact. Know your worth. All right. And the quote I chose was from J.K. Rowling. For those who don't know, she is credited with the authorship of the Harry Potter series. And the quote is, every human life is worth the same and worth saving. Because every human life is worth the same and worth saving. And so that quote, you know, stuck out to me because I was in a space of like, you know, is this worth it? Am I worth it? Is what I mean, like I was just really going down, like, you know, in the dumps. And um I came across the quote and I said, you know, it made me realize that no matter how insignificant I was feeling, even in that insignificance, I was still worth it. It's just because it's just every life is the same. It's worth the same. And because of that, it's worth saving. So the things that I was being hard on myself about, I had to, you know, come up off myself and say, you know, it's no different. And like you said, when you're doing your services, it's no different than, you know, the next person, even though, you know, this person may be struggling with a drug addiction, and this person may be struggling with alcohol addiction. This person may be addicted to sex. It doesn't matter. You know, the bottom line is there's a sickness and they need healing. And so
Right.
I had to apply that to myself and say, you know, I can't just want to heal the world. I need to want to heal myself. I need to make sure that I know that I'm just as much worth everything that I'm trying to give to everyone. I need to know that I'm worth giving it to myself. So that's where the quote really came in at for me. And it was just like, dang, you know, to feel like that about everyone and exclude yourself. And in myself, like, I'm at a point where I need to know my worth. I need to remind myself and be adamant about, you know, letting myself know that I am worth saving just as much as everyone else. So I mean, I'm sorry, extravagant dad. I apologize. Extravagant dad. What do you? I mean, what are you going from there? I mean, J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter, it's up there with, you know, what people consider
Yeah.
fantasy and all of that. But this quote is very human, you know.
For sure. So first I want to definitely connect with you and say that we share something in common in that space. And the reality is when you start doing the self work, you acknowledge that the reason you want to help people so much is because it gives you value that you can't find just in yourself, right? So it's like it's a certain level of appreciation that you
Yeah.
gain from people and from knowing that you did something for somebody or was capable of doing something that makes you feel better about you. And so, and that just come
Right.
from us a lack of self-love, a lack of self-appreciation. So we overextend so that the world can say, oh, you're a good person, because in reality we may not feel like we are truly good people or we are truly deserving. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So we create this character, and it's like it may like now I feel like it's who I am, but I think in different levels of our life we create these characters that help us survive, and we move according to that. Like, you know, at one point in my life, I ran the streets and got drunk because I thought that's what I needed to sustain the
Mhm.
relationships that I had at that point in my life. Right? Was that who I really was? Was I happy in doing it? Maybe not, but I needed that to survive. And so
Mhm.
now I'm in this
Right.
space where it's like, all right, I'm
Right.
starting to be true to myself. But now that I'm out evolving and I'm growing, guess what? My circle shrunk. I don't have as much people around me. I
Mhm.
don't feel the love as much as I did before. So now I got to do something to make me
Mhm.
feel like I'm somebody. And so it's almost a double-edged sword where if we really being truthful, it's like I think we always do something for something. Like, yeah, it's out the kindness of
Right.
my heart. It's out the kindness of my heart. But I think the true, authentic reason for being a giving service provider is so that I can look in the mirror and say, you did something good today. You're
Yeah.
deserving. You a good person.
Yes.
Somebody love you.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. And you know that that's crazy because that I'm saying to myself, I'm picturing everything you're saying and that feeling that comes from helping people. You ended it right there. I had to pause because you just said something that's really as crazy as can be. Is what a lot of us feel when you say you know you somebody loves you. You know, you're looking in the mirror, you know, and you're giving yourself, you know, this pat on the back because at the end of the day, we and our human nature need to acknowledge that when we we are loved by somebody. And I'm a realist. I get it. That self-love, oh, I love myself enough, and I get it. I get the mindset that it sounds good, that I love
Indeed.
myself so much that I don't need no other love in the world. But I'm a realist. In reality, it's very, very, very few people who can stand honestly on that. Because even if you're a female and you're speaking and you're talking is if you don't need a man, you got this self-love. 9 times out of 10, that is being compensated somewhere, whether it's through your children, through your mom, through your siblings, and you may not be conscious of that's what you're substituting it for.
Right.
Because yes, loving ourselves, it sounds good and it's great, and it really would be all that we need if we didn't live in a world where we are not an island to ourselves. We're in a world we interact with people. We're in a world where we are born into relationships. Okay, so it's natural human nature to want to assure yourself that you are loved. Well, why do we go through this? And honesty, for me, I'm gonna speak it, I'm gonna tell it. I want somebody at my funeral. I want at least to know that maybe just somebody I have did something in somebody's life just enough to know that when I'm gone, somebody, one person may remember me. And I feel like I'm not the only one. I feel like, and all in all, that is really what we all, subconsciously is seeking and looking when we're in that mode of needing to be assured that someone else loves us outside of ourselves. And again, topic, know your worth. This is where we got to understand, yes, everyone is worth receiving the love that they feel they need. Everyone is worth assuring them that they are loved the way they feel they need. This is you're naturally, this is what you're naturally entitled to, being born into, and we need to start making sure that as a culture we understand that, because I believe through the music and the media and all of the other things, devices that control our mindset, we get caught up and we forget because those messages aren't being pushed. I don't care how much a young lady can love herself. There's only so much self-love she can feel when she body, when she's being exploited and all that. It looked good, everybody crowd and all this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. If you love yourself but
It's a
so
cry for
much,
help.
you don't have to. You don't have to do all that to get love from anyone else. You don't have to. But the media convinces us that this is what is wanted. So
So
now we're too far
to
off topic. Go ahead, bro.
no, you good. I want to piggyback on that because I think it get a little deeper, right? I think, like you said, self love is not all that we want or need. We yearn for others, but I think it's not only just that. The reality is self love is not easy to obtain because the culture that we live in, we're not being
Yes.
raised with self love, right? Like in most households, I'm gonna say in our culture, our children are being tore down before they're being built up. So if they're constantly being yelled
Right.
at and called different names, and whether it's from their parents, their cousins, or their classmates, and when they go out into the world, it's constantly somebody tearing them down, and then there's nobody there to repair them or pour into them and let them know that you are special, you are loved. It starts there, right? And then we grow into
Yeah,
grown
that's right.
adults with this void, right? Because either you got some people who growing up, their opinion didn't matter, right? Like if we was I was one of them people who, like, we was talking in a circle, right? Everybody would give their opinion and I give mine, and it was like nobody heard what I had to say, right? It was just like, it was like, oh, he talking again. And so you start feeling like, well, nobody values what I have to say, right? And then you got some people who just introverted because no matter where they went, they didn't fit in. And because we're not taught to accept differences, right? Like, or if you don't have the latest this, or dress like this, or talk like that, or listen to this, or watch this, oh, Oh, you don't watch the
Right.
baddies? Or you lame.
Right.
You don't know
Right.
about the Juice Network? You lame. Like what? You read
Yeah,
Harry
it's the
Potter? You
truth.
lame. You corny. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, this is who I really am, and the world don't appreciate it. And so then that's when, if you did start off with love in your jar, it just start leaking out slowly but surely. The self
Mm-hmm.
love just start disintegrating because everybody's constantly tearing you down and telling you that that version of you that you say you love isn't enough for this world. And so trying to reverse that effect after living for 20 plus or 30 plus or 40 plus years is that's a lot of damage to repair. You basically a salvage vehicle. Like you feel me? Like so it's a lot of work that has to go into that. And I think we live in a society today where anything that requires work is just not worth it. You know, we are lazy people, whether it's relationships with others,
Right.
relationship with ourselves. If it
No,
requires
it's true.
work, it ain't worth it. And I love this segment because it says know your
It's true.
worth. And you're worth fighting for. You're
Right.
worth loving. You're worth working for, right? Like
Yeah.
you
Right.
are. I'm talking to whoever's listening, whoever can hear my voice or see my face. You are worth it. I don't care who told you you wasn't. Even if you told you you wasn't, you lied to you when you told you that. Because
Mm.
when you were born and when you came into this world, you had purpose on you. There's a reason you're here.
That's right.
And the moment you start walking in that, you're going to feel this sense of relief and appreciation for self.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. It's true. Everything you're saying is so true. And that's why I say I knew that I was going to end up being a listener in this episode more than anything because of the simple fact that, like you said, it's work
It's
to
work.
get up and remind yourself that you are something special. To get up and look in the mirror and have to meet your own eyes, knowing all that you've been through the day before, knowing you didn't make, you made a misstep, you made a mistake, you wasn't, you made a mistake and cussed that person out. You made a mistake and you flipped the bird to the other person. You got in all everything, and you have to be able to put the work in every day and say, you know what? I'm worth a try. I'm worth doing this again. I like you say, I'm worth the 15 minutes it takes to sit and meditate. I'm worth the 15 minutes it takes to exercise. I'm worth the extra 10, 15 hours it takes to spend to buy food that is better for me. I'm worth, it that is work to constantly have to remind yourself in the midst of everything that's going on. Because like you say, you already bad life
You
prior
breaking up.
of non-acceptance, bullies. Apologize for any, and I do believe the weather is affecting me, but for the most part. But yeah, it's everything you say, and I want to go into detail, but I don't want to go into detail too much because I'll make it too personal.
Yeah.
And then I'll be sitting here ranting. I'm like, what is she talking about? I don't even know what she's talking about. But that's why I'm trying to keep it broad, because like you said, this is for whomever can hear your voice, whoever can see your face. Someone is going to need this one day, and I know I'm one of them, because this is something that you're going to have to go back and play. You're going to get into a moment again. It's constant. It's a constant cycle to love yourself. It's a constant cycle to love others. Think of the work you put into the relationships of loving others. Think as a mom and a parent, as a dad, the energy you put out into loving a child. You got to be able to give that back to yourself equally. The same patience, the same tolerance, the same determination. You got to be able to say, if I can do that for them, I can do that for me. And it's not easy at all.
It's not.
It's not
I
easy
even
at all.
I even suffer from, I'm slowly coming out of it, but I can say that I still deal with it from time to time. I even still suffer from carrying a certain guilt when
Mm,
uh I prioritize myself, which
mhm,
is not good,
mhm.
right? because
Right.
I have people around me all the time that tell me, well, if you're not good, ultimately the people around you is going to be affected by you not being good. Like you have to pour into yourself and make time for you and find out what you like and all this so that when you show up for other people, you the best version of you. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But then it's like when I get by myself, I done did so much to, I guess, validate who I am in the eyes of others, including my children and family, wives, mother, and all that, that I forget what I like or what I want. So I start grasping for straws, and it's like I'm not really a shoe buyer, but I might buy a pair of shoes. Like, this really don't does this satisfy me? You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know. I lost me at some point, right? I don't know what
Right.
it is that fills me back up. Me and a brother of mine and a few other brothers, we host this men's group every other Monday, men's power hour. And a question came up Monday that just passed and said, with you being a person that help a lot of people, how do you get the help that you need? And when I say that was like a trivia question, it felt like I was doing trigonometry trying, like calculus trying to find an answer. I said, I don't know how to ask for it. I don't know. I don't even know where to begin because the reality is when you the person who fix it,
Right.
you don't know who to
It's
call
true.
to get something fixed, right? Like it's like
It's
if
true.
I come to your house to fix your toilet and then mine break, most likely I can fix my own, right? I'm not gonna call you to fix
Right.
my toilet and I just had to fix yours. So
Right.
when you're surrounded
Right.
by those who you're constantly repairing things for, it's like, damn, well, where do you turn when you need assistance or need something repaired yourself? Whether it's your
True.
spirit, your mental, your physical, like we all be needing repair. And I'm so stuck on I got it, I got it, I got it, I figure it out
That's an
that
awesome analogy.
yeah, I got it, I got it, I figured out, and then I get to a point where I can't figure it out. And that's when I just sit still and I'll be like, the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That instantly come. And for me, it just fixed whatever
Instantly.
problem I have.
Came 9 o'clock this morning, bro. On the road, on my way to PA. On the road. I say, I look at my right hand, look at my son, and I say, hey, the only thing we can say now is serenity, courage, and wisdom. That's it.
That's it. Because in
That
that
is
in that
something.
in that
That's
scripture
something because
alone,
it's true. It's true. But
when you really accept the stuff you can't change, you can't stress no more. Cause it's like, yo, it's really nothing I can do about it. Like me being mad right now or me being sad right now does not change the circumstance. Right? All right, boom, we let that go. Then we realize, all right, what can I
right.
change? So instead of me pouring energy
Mm-hmm.
into something that I can't do nothing about, let me pour that energy into what
Right.
I can do something about. All right, that's not working
Right.
right now.
Right.
Well, this is all right. Well, I know the original plan was to do whatever over here, but the internet not working. Ah, okay. And sometimes we get in our own way. This about to be all the way off topic, but I've been noticing this lately, right? Because I'm becoming aware and I'm starting to try to pay more attention to the signs.
Right.
God will protect us, and then we'll call it persistence and keep trying to go through a door that wasn't meant to be open, right? Like some things is
Yeah.
meant to be
Yeah.
on hold.
No, you got it. You got it. It's this story growing up. I grew up in a Baptist church, right? And it's this story that the preacher would tell about there was this flood, and the preacher, the church flooded, and the preacher went all the way to the roof, and the preacher started praying to God. He said, "Oh God, can you?" No, first he went to the first floor, say, "Oh God, can you save me? I need you to save me." So he said, the fire department come by and they get the ladder, and he comes and say, "Come on, that ladder." This man say, "No, I'm waiting on God." So the water rise up. My man gets to the roof, and he only say, "Oh Lord, please, can you save me?" say a helicopter come by and say, hey, go to ladder. And say, no, I'm waiting on God. But you know, to say that we so many times we are find ourselves in a situation where the solution is being given, but we turning it down, or we going back into the mess after it get fixed, and we find ourselves on our knees saying the same prayer. Oh, it was answered. It was
Not
answered
being
the first
aware.
10 times.
And it's like I give a random example. Let's say, God want to protect your energy today, right? And you decide you want to call somebody and they don't answer. So then you turn around and you text them and they don't answer, right? And then the day go on and you like, let me try again, and you call them. Now, it's the reason they're not answering, but you're not paying attention to that, right? And then let's say later on in the day, you finally get through. And when you get through, this conversation don't go nothing like what you intended. All they doing is just bring your energy all the way down, right? And you like, damn, yo, I went through hell and high waters to talk to you, and now I kind of regret it. And it's like God was like, I'm the reason they didn't answer the first time, but you decided to go around me and keep. And now we here. Now you gotta face it, because I tried to prevent you from even having to deal with this. A lot of times we want to take the wheel so bad that we get in the way and we create chaos where that it could be avoided.
Can be avoided.
It could truly be avoided. Sometimes it's like, let's say for instance, if things would have not work out today, right? Let's say we couldn't get a connection or whatever the case may be. Are we frustrated, or do we say that it was a reason for that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe there was someone who needed to hear who wouldn't have been able to get on today.
Right.
Maybe you know what I'm saying? It's so many different elements that go to it. And when we start looking at things outside of our personal emotions, then we able to accept it a little more.
Right. And I don't think it's off topic. I don't think it's off topic at all, because these are the things that I think people need to understand what we are worthy of. Being aware, being more aware, being more spiritually in tune, more emotionally aware. You're worth that. You owe yourself that, so that you can move better. You can move more consciously. You can make better decisions. We cut ourselves off from so many things simply by shutting our mind down and not realizing that we are worthy of the information that we need to take in. It's for us. That's one of the things I have to. It's for me. It's for me. One of the scriptures I started really pushing heavy from like the middle of last year was to understand that all things work for good for them that are called according to his purpose. And the reason why I had to really start standing on that is because it says all things work for good. The scripture doesn't say all things are good, all things work good, good things will always happen. It says all things work for good. So that thing that you feel as though was negative or bad, in alignment with your purpose and your calling to the will of God, all things work for good for those that are loved and called according to his work. So I stopped dealing with issues that were negatives of if there was a bad thing. It's a daily thing. I'm worth telling myself that I am, worth all the good, despite how it's coming out, despite I don't see, how this benefits me, despite how this has made me feel, despite how I don't agree with. I still have to know that it's going to work for good because I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I'm called according to his purpose. This is what I'm worth. This is what it says. This is what exactly is. It falls in line. To me, it's not off topic. I don't think we really understand how important it is to own yourself, own your power, own your spirituality, own it. Is you have to own who you are. Like you say, so many times we change who we are to fit what other people want us to be because we're trying to get their acceptance and love from them. But going back to the self-love, if you're able to establish that with yourself, then you're able to stand on the things that you believe and you feel as though make you you, and you don't have to compromise but so much on those things. And then I say compromise but so much because, mind you, we have an ego. So I don't want no one. I always give disclosures. Do not walk from here and say, and as we said, you got to take me for who I am, how I am, any kind of way. It's not true. We live in a world where we interact with people. We have to compromise. We will have a moment where sometimes you're going to have to digress. You want to bring that down and let them shine. And it's going to be moments vice versa. But that's where, like Extravagant Dad say, you ask yourself in serenity, what things I have the power over to change and what things I don't. What things I am supposed to change and what things I'm not. What things I need to accept just as they are and keep it pushing. You know, you are worth these thoughts and analyzations. You are worth the moment of you taking that whole process to yourself, being able to sit down at night and plan your life and decide what is for you, what boundaries you deserve, what boundaries you need to set, you know, all of that. You are worth all of that. This is the work that we were speaking about in the beginning of the show, that it takes to establish that self-love, to establish that worthiness within yourself. These are the things that we're saying that takes work, because you have to take the time to think for yourself, think about yourself, and think how it's going to affect you. This is your worth. You're worth all of that. Just stop going out here, hanging with people, doing whatever, you know, fitting in, all that, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's time for us to really start taking life serious enough to understand that the cause and effect of things, the things that we do now will affect us later. Especially since now we're living in a time where we're getting fed so much information and life is on such a high frequency that, like, we're being labeled as lazy. We're not doing nothing much manually. We're not doing much with our hands and our time other than sitting in front of a computer. So we have to understand that we got to take the time to make sure we're still pointing to ourselves the things that we need so that we can live a purposeful life, a satisfying life, you know. I don't think you went off topic. I think everything you were saying definitely ties in, and it may be deeper of a tie-in for some versus others, but you know, you watch the show, you play it back a couple times, I'm pretty sure it's going to all connect, it's going to all link up, it's going to all make sense, because everything that Extravagant Dad is saying in detail about even the guilt, that's what I wanted to go back and touch on. I think guilt is one of the biggest enemy to self is guilt. And I'll say that, you know, with such conviction, because as a mother, I find myself in some of the darkest places from guilt. Guilt keeps us from forgiving ourselves first. It keeps us from forgiving others. It keeps us in traumatic mind state. It keeps us stagnant. Guilt is a heavy pressure, it's a heavy dose. One of the biggest enemies ever, guilt. You have to be able to move with flow like water. You know, you have to be able to, guilt will be that dam that blocks it and drown you. You understand? Mm-hmm. You have to be able to forgive yourself. We come into this life not knowing what the next day is going to bring. And then the only thing we know is in the past. We can't about it. So a lot of times we sit and we let these thoughts and things beat on us like a hammer on a nail about how we didn't do this, we didn't say that, we didn't have control over this, we might have did this one way, and we might have said this. I mean, and we hammer with why me, why I didn't. We hammer down, and guilt is just steady pressing us down into the ground until we are pretty much under the concrete. And that's what makes it so hard for us to get up. That guilt, that weight.
Yeah, for sure.
For us to press up. You gotta release it. You gotta release it, especially things about the past that you don't have control over. I'm telling myself this because as a mother of 7, but it's like I can sit and write a long list of things that I feel guilty about, but I had no control over them. So it goes back to the serenity prayer. I accept the things I cannot change. So yeah, I might feel guilty about it, but I'm accept. Serenity is about peace. For those who are not understanding what serenity means, so serenity means peace of mind. peace of mind. Give me the peace of mind to accept the things I cannot change. That's your first weapon against guilt right there.
Yeah.
Then you gotta, it says, give me the courage to change the things I can. That's another shot at guilt. Because guilt will have you thinking that you done messed up and you can't fix it. There's nothing you can do. But there is. It just takes courage to do it. That you ever find yourself stagnant in a place where you know what you gotta do and you haven't done it. That procrastinating state of mind is your fear. This is the part of the prayer where you're reaching for courage because you already know what you got to do. It's in your mind. Your subconscious has brought it to you. That's what you have to do. And the step is right there. You haven't taken a step. You're only not taking a step because you're afraid.
Facts.
So, again, the peace of mind to tell guilt, you know what? The peace of mind, I ain't going to be guilty. Then I need the courage to step into what I can change. So now I can't be guilty about it because I changed it. I made some stages. What they said I was, I'm not. What I thought I was, I made sure that when I looked in the mirror and felt like I was, I'm not. I made steps to change. I'm telling you how to beat off guilt. You got to know your worth. You are worth. You are worth more than what you're telling yourself because you're beating yourself down over guilt. And then the last thing it says, the wisdom to know the difference. Wisdom to know the difference in what? The wisdom to know the difference between what I can change and what I can't. Now you're really putting guilt into the ground. Now you've taken the power from guilt because you've given yourself wisdom, knowledge. It's power. Now you can look at guilt and say, I ain't got to feel guilty about that because I know that I cannot change nothing about. I ain't got to feel guilty about that because that I had the courage to change it. Guilt is one of the biggest killers of ourselves, of our self-worth out there. And I hope I'm saying in a way that someone gets it and understand. It's a big enemy. It's one I fight with every day. I have family and friends who go through this with me, who they shake me up. They say, look, you cannot guilt yourself like that. Because I'll be on the verge of suicide, literally. Because my guilt will make me feel like I ain't even worth being born. That when you start feeling like that, that is the guilt strangling the life out of you. You got to know you are worth every amount of chance that you give yourself, every amount of change that you can do, not just in other people's lives, change in your life. You know, right. I mean, extravagant dad.
Yeah, no, I want to piggyback you one more
time. You are the guy.
Another thing I think that helps that makes us struggle with it's identity, right? I think the labels that the Western medical field has put on us as a people, whether it's ADHD, anxiety, social anxiety, separation anxiety, autism, these labels make people walk into the definition given to them, right? And that's why it's important when we go back to the names in the beginning. That's why it's important not to attach yourself to things because the moment you tell a child or you tell a person they have anxiety, they'll use that to justify a worry that they could embrace. Oh, I have anxiety. Yeah, but you have the power. True. You have the power in your mind to also say that haven't even happened yet. Why am I stressing over something that haven't happened yet? The possibility is slim. Yeah. Right? Like if I'm weighing the odds, it's not that heavy. But because I told myself or someone told me that I have this thing called anxiety, or this kid has a lot of energy. This kid has a lot of energy. Oh, he has ADHD. No, he has energy. He vibrates high. He needs to be maneuvered into something that can channel that energy. You guys are moving too slow. It's not that he moving too much or too fast. Y'all moving too slow. But then y'all label him, and then he starts to believe, or she starts to believe, that they are the problem. Yeah. And so true. I think it's very important that we try to I don't know what we would have to do as a people to stop it, but I think it's very important that's why I'm not really big on, I'm big on holistic. If I can find a holistic way to heal, versus going to the doctors, because the doctors,
Yes.
again, it's a money game. If I can label
Yeah.
you, then I can prescribe you something. If I can prescribe you
Yeah.
something, then I can charge your insurance company, right? And
Yeah.
if I can tell you that there's a problem in here, but I might have to cut you open and solve it, I can charge for that too,
Yeah.
right? And the reality is, we have the ability. How many times have you scarred yourself as a child, and you woke up the next morning, you was like, "Yo, what the?"
Yep. Yeah.
The body has the ability to heal
To heal
itself,
itself. Yeah.
but
It's
again,
rejuvenation.
the world has created these distractions and these labels to the point that, like, again, like I said earlier, I lost myself in trying to service everyone else, but in reality, we're all losing ourselves. I think that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's hard for us to even think on our own now, right? How many times have you not been thinking about something, and then you scroll
Right.
and you see a reel of somebody cooking a seafood platter or something, and all of a sudden you got a taste for it, and
Yep.
you just gotta have it. Like, it's not even a, hey, I really want that, and then you brush it off. It's like, no, I gotta get one now, right? Or you riding down the street and you see somebody with a
Yep.
snowball,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you don't want it. You need a snowball now. Like, you don't
You need a
understand
snowball.
the external influence,
Oh,
right?
I get it.
Like, if you didn't see it, you probably wouldn't need it.
We need
and
it.
and, and so,
Yeah.
like you said before, with so much information being downloaded by us, we have to be 1,000,000,000% more conscious and aware of what we are digesting,
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
TV to the radio to the social media to the people we surround ourselves with, the movies, entertainment, the environments. All these things play a part in who we ultimately become.
Right.
And if we constantly allowing all these things we start losing us,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's like you're the foundation, and then you watch something, and then you see something else, and then you listen to a song, and it's just piling up, and you
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
all the way at the bottom. All this is
Yep.
not you.
Yep.
None of It's like a layered cake. You at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom, and none of what's at the top is really you. It's just something
Right.
that you have digested, whether through your eyes, through your
Mm-hmm.
smell, through your
Mm-hmm.
ears, through what you touched. Like, we got to be careful on how our senses are used. And
Yes.
yeah, I just think we have to
Yep.
be intentional, more intentional,
Mhm.
in order to discover our self-worth. Because in order to know our self-worth, I think we have to
I
know self.
agree.
If we don't know who we are, there's almost no way to appreciate us. I'm good. Come in. Girl, what you got on?
You know what? No, you know what's also about that, right? Hey, and the princess is in the building. And that's funny because we get ready to close out, and I didn't even do my I didn't do experts first experience. It was too good what was being said. And I felt like the purpose of the show had to come out. And the fact that, so we can get ready to close out, I'll go into my mindful thought. You just said my mindful thought, right? Hey dad, look, and look, they go to family. And this is what it's about, right?
Yep.
Um my mindful thought for the evening was know thyself, right? Because in order for in order for you to know your worth, you have to know your value. And when you look at people, when they want to measure the value of something, they take into components the components of that particular item. In
Right.
order for you to know your value, you have to know yourself. You have to know who you are, what you're here for, everything, all of that. And, I'm glad you have your children with you, because this show, I wanted to make sure that I address myself. When I say you measure the world by the things around you. And that is why you're finding yourself in a space of low value.
Mm-hmm.
You need to measure your value by what's inside of you. That is where the true gold and treasure is. And that is where you will find the true amount of your worth. So that is my mindful thought. Extravagant dad. I love that, the fact you have a family. I love it. I love it.
Thank
For
you. Thank you.
everyone, make sure you follow Extravagant Dad. Make sure you follow the Zay family. He's gonna make sure he plug himself and let you know what's what. But for the most part, even got the dog. For the most part, yeah, that's my mindful thought. Know thyself. In order to know your worth, you have to know your value. You have to know what you are from the inside out. Extravagant Dad, you can close this out with your mindful thought. This has been a great show. I thank everyone who joined. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the playback, and all that. I'm gonna let you close this out. Make sure you tell us where we can find you at and what's going on in your world and how we can support you.
Absolutely. Again, I'm extravagant dad. And I'm gonna give you my mindful thought first, and then we can do the follows and all that. Right. My mindful thought of the day is give yourself grace. Today is a new day. Whatever has happened a minute ago is no longer in existence. What is happening in a minute from now has not even begun to be in existence. So take this moment of presence of right now to be grateful and give yourself grace, regardless of what mistake was made and what mistake might be made. Grace will find you peace. It's okay to mess up. Nobody's perfect. But in the now, I need you to realize that here's my opportunity to correct the same thing that I'm feeling some type of way about. So let's not just, in that grace, let's not just give ourselves grace and then continue to repeat the cycle. But with that grace, breed change, acknowledge what's going on, and make the necessary changes so that your life can evolve at the rate and at the pace that it should. Grace, be present in the now.
Great.
Let go of yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Today is all we have.
Appreciate
Oh,
that.
and you can follow
All right,
me.
and that,
Yeah,
please.
you can follow me
Yeah.
on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, Extravagant Dad, like it is on the screen. Um, YouTube. I haven't put any content up yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm also thinking about getting into the Twitch scene and starting a podcast of my own soon. Again, I think I'm dealing with a fear factor of just wanting everything to be perfect. Um, but I think I need to just let go and just start now so that people can grow with me, like you said, right? Um,
Right.
and And yeah, man, I just look forward to helping people as much as I can. Be sure to follow me on Instagram so that y'all can get that morning cup of Joe. That cup of Joe,
Yes.
I don't know who be needing it, but people be needing it. I serve it up real hot.
This one.
Whatever creamer
This
you
one.
need, you gonna get it. But look, I got that cup of Joe for you, man. Subscribe to it. It's a segment I do every morning where I just, depending on what day it is, I give what's on my heart. It's never premeditated. It's just raw, uncut, unfiltered advice and wisdom.
Yep. Yep. I appreciate, yeah, because I definitely was gonna put that in there. Because I recently have been weaning myself off of coffee. So that's been my substitute. So I could, like, the
Yeah,
caffeine, like you say, these Western diagnoses, but yeah, that caffeine in me, that vibration thing, lately it's been sending me into some some moments. So I'm pulling back off of the actual real coffee, but I'm supplementing it with a good old cup of Joe every morning with you, Extravagant Dad. And I
Cup of Joe
appreciate
sit
them.
slow.
I appreciate everyone is always on time. I don't know how you do in the morning. I'm like, wake up in my head, just drop a cup of Joe. This guy's amazing. So yeah, I appreciate because you always on point. You always saying what I need to hear. And a lot of times you bringing up some things that I need to address within myself. So yeah, that'd be my cup of Joe, and I slip it slow, you know. And yeah, we get ready to close out, you guys.
Appreciate you.
I thank
sis.
y'all for another episode. It's always good to see the Zay family. Please, y'all support this family. This is the family that the world needs to see. This is the Baltimore family. This is the Cosbys of Baltimore. Okay. And all right, this is what's going on right here in Baltimore. This is real love that they don't want people to talk about. This man and his wife and his children, they are putting out positive content. They're raising their children with positive, strong morals. And so I want this family to definitely be on top. I want them up there with the Obamas. And I need y'all to help me do it by making sure y'all support them, support my show so that I can keep having platforms to introduce people like this to the world. And we can just keep being more mindful and growing as a culture, as a city, as a people, as a nation, as a world. We can just keep growing. So I thank y'all for joining me. Again, I'll be on the 4th Thursday of this month. We'll be closing out this month with a special episode. And so, yeah, you guys know me. You can catch me on Instagram, Aneski Anna Kemset, ANESKIANAKEMSIT, all one word, no spaces. Aneski me, she belongs to me. So I thank y'all for having me for this hour. And my guest, Extravagant Dad. Take care of the family. Tell my guy what's up. And y'all make sure y'all tap in. Buy my book, tap in Extravagant Dad, and I'm out.